I will introduce our speaker this morning. Our speaker was first elected to the Williamson County Commissioners Court to represent precinct number 3 in November of 2006. While in office, she has taken a keen interest in mental health issues throughout the county and state. She has worked alongside the county's mental health professionals, law enforcement, the judicial branch of the county, and our local mental health authority to garner state recognition for the Williamson County Jails diversion programs. Our speaker has also been integral in the improvement of our county's transportation projects. She understands that growth is inevitable and that responsible growth and planning is invaluable. Some completed projects during her time in office include the Williams Drive expansion, Ronald Reagan Boulevard, and the SH 195 expansion. She additionally serves the county by participating on various boards and committees, including the Williamson County Mental Health Task Force and the Williamson County Conservation Foundation, where she serves as the president. Prior to her life in public office, she earned her accounting degree from the University of Texas and has been a licensed certified public accountant for the past 30 years. Without further delay, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Commissioner Valerie Covey.
I know that you know the growth in this area has been tremendous. As it was mentioned, we moved here in '94 up from Austin because we have 3 boys and one of them was about to start school, and we, I'll be honest, didn't want to be in the AISD school district. So we looked around and Georgetown seemed to be a great opportunity. And my husband loved it. He was traveling through it as a salesman, and he said, Georgetown is the place to be. It's unique. We have the courthouse, we have the river, it's beautiful. And although I was a stay-at-home mom, you know, I had no idea at the time that I was going to be in politics at one time. But we chose Georgetown, and we're so thankful that we did. At the time when we moved here, just to put a little perspective on it, there was only one Georgetown Junior High. Okay, Tippett was not named Tippett, it was just Georgetown Junior High, and we had one. Now what do we have? 4, with talks of a 5th, and we had one high school. Everybody was an Eagle. In fact, everybody from elementary to high school was an Eagle. Imagine the complication when we expanded to another high school. And because we live on the south side of Georgetown, we were a patriot. And we knew we were going to be a patriot no matter how they drew the lines. So Josh, our youngest son, we have 3 boys. Josh, our youngest son, was a patriot from the freshman class up. He was the first 4-year class. And we were thankful that we went to Eastview. It was an awesome experience. Our oldest son, just give you a little brief update for those of you who know me. Our oldest son is a doctor, and he is practicing in Gainesville, Florida. His wife is in residency there, and that's why they're in Gainesville, although she's from Florida, so I assume that that's going to be a permanent residence in Florida. They are expecting my first grandbaby in October, so we're really thankful for that. And also our middle son, Zach, is living in San Antonio and working for a medical equipment company. Our youngest son, Josh, graduated from UT last year, electrical engineering, and he's getting his doctorate there in Gainesville at UF. And so he's living with Matt and Sarah in their garage apartment. And hey, can you hear me now? Hey, a spare. We always need a spare. So anyway, when we moved here, it was very small. Matthew, our oldest, went to Annie Pearl, and the whole town, everybody in kindergarten went to Annie Pearl that year. It was the last year they did that, and then they started popping schools out, and I think they, you know, will continue to do that. So I say that to say it's not surprising to see these numbers and to see the fact that we have grown. Along with the growth, though, comes other challenges. And, you know, not just transportation that we're going to talk about, but also law enforcement, mental health we're going to talk about. Many other things come along with growth. And I see David Morgan here. Throughout our conversation, I'll probably pick on him a little bit, but we work, seriously, we work very well together, and we meet regularly because we have so much to do together, okay? Because there are so many things happening in this area. And with the opportunity for expansion, because we have a lot of vacant property in Williamson County, we anticipate more people wanting to come here. So we have, I'm going to move it to the next thing here. There we go. That's a map of Williamson County. And the county figured that it was a good idea to not just be reactive to transportation issues, making it complicated and sometimes impossible to fix things, as Austin has done, but to be proactive. Okay. And I say that not to be mean to our brothers and sisters to the South, but they had a plan back in the early 60s. And if you go back and look at it, it had very major roads. 35 wasn't, and Mopac weren't the only things, but they failed to implement their plan. And because of that, we have really hard time getting through Austin. And so we didn't want to be like that. We had a canvas of Williamson County, and we said, okay, what should we do? And we drew some lines on a map as placeholders, really, for the most part, to show what we would need for total build out of the county. Okay. Now, will all of these lines be built? Potentially not. But if people continue to sell their property, we are going to need more than what we have. So we wanted to go ahead and plan that. Several of the projects that I'm going to talk about today, we are ready to go build, some of which are not. So as you know, and I'm see if I can get my pointer to work here. On the east side, we're mostly agriculture, and so there are a lot of farms out there. And people think, "Why did you draw lines on my farm?" You know, and it's because somebody sometime may not want to farm, and we have seen that. Look at Hutto. Look at Hutto. Look at the change in that area. And just knowing that if we don't plan for it and know where the road should go, and then be able to keep things from growing in it as best we can, secure the right of way. And I don't mean going out there and buying all the right of way. There's no way we could afford that. But we work with development as they come to secure the right of way so that we can build. And we wouldn't build the big road that we would need ultimately right away. We would do it in increments. And that's what we've done. And you can also see what we did with Reagan, Ronald Reagan, which basically right here, it starts to be Reagan. It's Palmer from here south, but it was built in increments, okay, up to major roadways. Well, now we have a project right now. One of my projects is to take Ronald Reagan extension, and you can tell where that is at 35, where the bridges are going in, and take it over to 95, the planning project, okay? And then we have a project right here. This is E. We call it E for, we lettered all of them. I'm sorry. We're kind of anal that way. But this is County Road 305. We replaced the bridges there with the help of TxDOT. And we have a project right now. Engineers are looking at how to get a road from here down to the extension of Reagan. And then each of these segments all the way down to SH 45. And let me tell you how important it is to plan. As an example, this is SH 45. This was a TxDOT roadway, and the first bond election for the county went mostly for the right-of-way for that. Why was that built? Well, mainly because Dell Computer said, if you don't build something better, some transportation system better than you have, we are going to move. And so everybody got on the stick and did that, as you can imagine. So if you notice right here, this is the gap. This is Travis County right here, but right over here is 130, okay? That road stops at 130, doesn't it? Well, look how much area there is to cover out here. And because TxDOT didn't plan for what should come, not build it, but plan, a Costco, a high school, a bunch of homes are now in the way of extending 45 east. So what did the county have to do? We had to come up with a different little path to get up here, and we had to displace some people, which means we have to buy their homes. Very expensive, but even more so, not something we want to do. We don't want to move anybody from their home. So we have to plan and we have to implement the plan. Why would you think that I would be interested in this area right up here? Do you know what's up there? A little town called Gerald. Nothing for a long time. Not even when I became commissioner, I mean, they weren't even a city. They hadn't incorporated yet. Now they're incorporated and their city is still pretty tiny, but all the growth that's happening out around there is causing us to be very concerned. In fact, I have several road projects we won't even talk about today that are going on, trying to coordinate with the school, which just like Georgetown is trying to pop out schools. And every place they put a school is undersized. It's just a little 60-foot county road, not for buses and transportation. So anyway, oh, by the way, I don't know if y'all noticed today, I hope it went well. I'm going to talk to you about roads actually on the ground, but today Jeff Bezos was a passenger on a rocket ship, the Blue Origin, is that what it's called? Something like that, and one of his. So we're not there yet. We're going to stay on the ground at grade roads. How many of y'all have been on the bypass? Okay. So have you been through the quarry part? Isn't that cool? That was the hardest project I've ever done. Okay. It's an active quarry. They blow rock up. Okay. So it's kind of complicated, but we worked with the city. The city built the part from Wolf Ranch Parkway south to Leander Road. The county built the part around through the quarry to 35, the access roads. This is a segment that is missing that we're going to build, and we are planning it. Well, let me switch the deal. It will be started this year. So to complete, hopefully in late 22. That's an important piece because the traffic that flows through, you know how congested it can get on 29, especially down there at Wolf Ranch. And we're not trying to divert people away from your shopping, but it does back up a lot. And with Wolf Lakes going in soon, and the construction there on that northwest portion, it's going to be complicated. So this is a very important little piece of project. The next one I want to talk about is on the east side. So let me go. I don't know if I can flip back. No, it can't. On the big picture of the map, the county, if you noticed on the west side, just the bypass that I'm talking about, it ties into Interloop. It goes east using Sam Houston to get to 130. The Sam Houston dead ends right here. And right here. And this is Patriot that gets you to Eastview. And so we're going to take this road over 130 and go cross country to tie into 29. Now, right now, we're just going to use, this is going to be an interim part of this project. It actually is an arterial on our map, so it's not something that's wasted. We're just building it a little earlier than we would have. And the reason why we're doing it here as opposed to going across here and tying into 29, which it ultimately will, is because TxDOT realigned 29, where it should go. It floods down on the 95 end of it, east. And so they've redesigned it, but we need this road to go right through this corner, and we don't want to tie into a corner. Okay, a curve in that road. That's not a good, safe way to do it. So that's why we're, for the interim, going to tie in here to 29. But ultimately, this road will go up here and go up to the new alignment, which is a little bit north of the current alignment of 29. So we are planning that project. I mean, it's been planned, and we have bought the right-of-way. Sorry, touched the wrong button. Construction, late 21. Okay. It's going to take a while. That's going to take a bridge over 130. It's complicated because that's going to take a little bit of time. But the whole concept is to divert traffic off of downtown 29. Okay, especially the pass-through traffic of these really large equipment for the oil companies, those big wind turbines. Isn't that incredible? Have you been next to one of those? That's just amazing. So all of that to say, we've worked with the city. That was one of their major projects. It's taken years to get it, get it done, and we've done it in segments. But I think it's a very important project. We're moving forward on that. Another project that's happening also in that eastern portion of Georgetown, which, by the way, is a very fast-growing area. If you've not been down there in a while, drive down there and you see what I'm talking about. We're taking Westinghouse, which connects to I-35 down here, Celebration Church. That's the road we're talking about. This is 1460 or A.W. Grimes. We're going to take it and go east. We're going to get rid of this 90-degree turn here, and we're going to take it cross country and back tie into Rock Ride Lane here, and then take it all the way out to 130. Okay. What we'll build is a portion of the road, the lanes that are needed now, and then eventually we'll be able to add the other lanes. But again, we've got the right of way, which is key to any project moving forward. 110. Right now, we have widened 110 all the way to 79. We did it in 2 segments. The second segment ends right here at 107. Well, I didn't think it was a good idea to leave this little piece out. So we're adding this to our project here, and we're going to be able to construct that and just extend that widening up to whatever this road will be called. Westinghouse, Rock Ride, I don't know. I'm one road, one name person, okay? And if y'all are behind me, that's awesome. Eventually, this road will go cross country and tie into Patriot Way, but that's the future. Okay. Again, a project starting in the fall. I got a lot of projects starting this year. Okay. Hopefully the weather will work out for us and we'll be able to get going, and you'll see dirt turning soon. Again, finishing summer of 22. These were all bond projects, by the way, that the voters approved. And we had a recent bond election, not only in Georgetown that was approved, but also in the county in 19, 13, and 06 actually was the first one for me. Okay, this is another project, County Road 245. This is Williams Drive, or 2338. Ronald Reagan up here. And this is a little road that looks like it's not a big deal, but there are a whole lot of people. And I'm looking, any Sun City folks in here? So you guys might take that to get to Williams Drive, especially if you live over here in the newer area, because you're not going to want to go all the way down to Reagan and to come back loop. So you're going to cut through. So we are widening, and let me tell you how important timing is. Thankfully, there are several developers that are about to put projects on the ground, and thankfully we were able to get the right of way and the road to fit in there to widen it. Okay, so we're talking possibly ultimate build out 6 lanes. And you go, wow, that's really huge, right? Some have said that to me. But this road, if you think it's not just from Reagan to Williams Drive, this road actually goes north, and it keeps going north where the growth is continuing to happen. So we have to look at the whole, not just little segments, to be able to see. And that's what as a county commissioner I try to do. Okay, again, a spring of 22, starting this project, ending spring of 23. It's about a mile, but I'm going to suggest an important mile. Also in the Sun City 195 area is trying to correct, when 195 was widened, there was no off-ramp here. And we're going to add an off-ramp, an exit ramp. Okay. And the reason why, to be honest with you, that there wasn't put one there before is because this is all a quarry and there was a big hole. So that was dangerous, but they have filled in the hole and we can get a lane there. We're going to exit. It's going to look like a traditional on and off ramp. Okay. Very important. A little, by the time summer of 22 comes around, we should be ready to go. Okay. Who takes DB Wood Road? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But, and by the way, I think the most important thing about transportation is that we have options, because there's no way to fix one road to meet everybody's need. Not as many people as we have moving here and already here. So again, the bypass, DB Wood, those are key roads in order to keep people from having to go all the way down Williams Drive or 29 or Leander Road. Okay. So what we're doing here is, and this has been a long project, it morphed into what it's going to be. Okay. Originally it was just going to be adding some left turn lanes. Okay. But when we got into the project, it didn't make sense to just add turn lanes. We're going, and TxDOT, owning 29, wanted to do a little bit more. So what we're going to do, the way it looks at Wolf Ranch in front of Wolf Ranch Parkway. Wolf Ranch is going to be the way it looks with a middle island there. Okay. And you're not going to have the chicken lane anymore from that area. Okay. That's what I call it anyway. So here's Wolf Ranch Parkway. All right. And Wolf Ranch Parkway, as you know, we tied into the bypass over here, right? This is DB Wood. It's going to be turning movements improved, and this is going to look like it does down here. Okay. I think it's going to work really well. It's going to be really bad. I'll just be honest with you while we're constructing it. So don't go that way. You're going to call my office and tell me how bad it is. Okay. And I'm just going to confess it up front. It's going to be really bad, but then it's going to be really good until the city starts widening DB Wood, another part of DB Wood, but that's going to be really good too. Okay. So hang with us both as we try to improve a very high trafficked road. Okay. There's very few crossings over the river, and that's the complicated part. Okay. And so that's why the city and the county have partnered together on many projects to accomplish that. So hang with both the county and the city, please, on that. Again, a lot of words to say. We hope to start in late 21, now 20, late 21, let me say. All right. I have other road projects that I'm working on. We can talk about that. If you have a road project in your area, hold that question. We'll try to get to it. We'll talk about anything else you want to talk about. However, I do want to mention real quickly bugs and birds, and now salamanders. So a number of years ago, well, actually in 2008, the county accomplished a major task in getting a countywide permit for development, primarily for county development with roads, but also for private and for schools, cities. Anybody can take advantage of it. We created a regional habitat plan. And the way that works, real briefly, not to glass over so early in the morning, is that we did the heavy lifting up front to get a permit that can work for any type development. Now you just come to us, the WCCF, Williamson County Conservation Foundation, and you can apply for your permit. You can participate. It's voluntary. You don't have to. And the alternative is unknown cost and unknown time dealing directly with the Fish and Wildlife Service. But if you choose to come to us, it's within 30 days, and usually it's just a few weeks, you can get your permit, and you know exactly how much it's going to cost you because we put the game rules in our plan. Okay. So we wanted to make it a better process. Okay. Because it's complicated to deal with the federal government, and those of us have done it. It's very, very complicated, and they always want more. And so the goalpost moves, and I'm a big know the game rules up front kind of person. So these are some of our little lovely critters that they have determined are endangered. I won't go into too much detail, but I am a science kind of person. If you can prove it to me in science, great. You know, I'm okay with that. If you can prove that the golden cheek warbler really only has a few pair and that they're going extinct, that's great. But when we find hundreds of thousands of pairs, I think we need to reconsider that listing perhaps. They have chosen not to do that. So we continue to struggle with making sure that our little critters are taken care of. The black-capped vireo actually did come off the list. It's not a big presence in Williamson County. It's mainly on the southwest portion. And the salamander, fondly named the Georgetown Salamander, or in our office, Sally, she or he lives in a lot of different places that you would frequent and wouldn't even know. If you've taken the trail, Georgetown's trail, over, or we call it Swim Bank, it's by the dam. It's not that far from the dam. You know, if you've gone that direction, you've gone right past a place that we find a lot of salamanders. Okay. And there's homes close to it. There's a trail right next to it. And yet Sally lives. Sally's also found under SH 45 And in fact, when we've done photo ops with the congressman and different stories that we've told that we've been on TV, we go there and they can find them very quickly. So Avery Ranch is another big area where we find, in fact, not only have we found them and all those homes got built, but the population has increased. And I'll just say they're aquatic. So when it rains, you're going to see them. And when it doesn't, they go down into the aquifer to live. And that's the way they were created, so that they exist. So they're pretty hardy little souls. But it has become complicated to do projects, especially over the aquifer, because you're going to hit a hole. And when you hit it, you're either going to find a bug, a spider, a mold beetle like this, or salamanders even perhaps. And so we're going to add a chapter to our habitat plan for Georgetown Salamander. Again, just like we did for the bugs and birds. So that way it's easier to develop, and we can take care of the species. Okay. And we have, we worked with Georgetown in a very rapid form and got an ordinance passed that helps protect the water quality of the area, setting back from streams and springs, okay, which is basically your most valuable property if you have any property you're developing, and you're going to want to do that. But that's part of it, and that helped coordinate our effort for a 4D rule, which we have for the Georgetown Salamander. Now they've done, and I'm not making this up, they've done DNA tests on the Georgetown Salamander, and some of the Georgetown Salamanders are now considered Salado salamanders. Yes. And by the way, if you look at our map, the interesting thing about the northern part of the county is that the water flows north, which typically doesn't happen, but it flows north. So that's the Salado Salamander Basin. It's in the northern part of the county, but it's actually into some of Georgetown's area in the 195 area. So it does impact Georgetown in the development here. So we are in the very beginning stages of trying to write that into our plan, and it's a long process. It's a couple of years of dealing with the service, and it's going to cost about $1 million. But it will. We're trying to get a grant from the federal government, and we are also working with our engineers, our bug experts, and yes, there are bug experts that climb down in the caves and such. If you want to see one, just go to Inner Space Cavern, and along the trail there'll be a box, several boxes there where the electrical stuff is, and just open it up and you'll see spiders there, just like at my house, just like at your house, you know. Anyway, that's okay. That's okay. Let's go to mental health, which I'm going to need a room with my name on it when all the other stuff is finished, I'm sure, because just dealing with some of the federal government issues. But I did want to talk to you about mental health for a little bit. Along with growth, there is good and there is not so good. There's challenging, okay? And we have had a lot of challenging issues come up because of the growth of Williamson County. And you know, we're blessed to live close to a military post, Fort Hood. We have a lot of veterans here. And if you're a veteran, I want to thank you for your service. We appreciate everything that you've done. And we know that people come back, they have a lot of issues to deal with, and we want to help them through those times. A number of years ago, the county realized that our jail was becoming a mental health hospital, and it's not equipped to do that. And so because we don't want our jail to be a mental health hospital, and because of the ER in the medical hospitals, we don't think that that's the best place for them to reside either in their, it's very expensive too, especially if they don't have insurance, because the county pays for those folks. So we have been trying to divert and come up with different plans to divert folks from both the jail and the hospitals after they're medically cleared. And we have really been out of the box thinkers, okay, I think. And so I wanted to share a couple of things that we've done and then a couple of things that we are looking forward to do. One of the things that has been complicating the issue of mental health is that our medical hospitals are not mental health hospitals, and they don't want to be. Okay, we've had that conversation with them, and they don't want to be. So where do folks go when they need help? Well, there's all different levels of mental health needs. And one of the things that we did, and let me just stop and say, Williamson County, I think, is very unique and very proactive in this area, but we are a big collaboration. It's not just me. It is a lot of folks that we have from law enforcement. We have the medical hospitals. We have 2 mental health hospitals right here in Georgetown Behavioral Health and Rock Springs, which we're thankful that they're here. We have a number of citizens that are interested in it. We also have all the way up from our district attorney, county attorney, our judges that deal with these issues. And so we have had many discussions, and we meet very regularly to try to accommodate issues that we have. Funding is always an issue. And I'll tell you, a budget or two ago, we partner with Bluebonnet Trails, which is our local mental health authority, and they have done an excellent job. And I'll be real honest. A number of years ago, really before I became commissioner, they weren't doing such an excellent job. There were some issues that we had, and we needed to fill some gaps. So the county created a mobile outreach team, MOT, and they are county employees that actually respond to mental health calls. They're not law enforcement, but they're mental health workers. Okay, and they have done an excellent job for us. Bluebonnet has stepped up in many ways. Their executive director, Andrea Richardson, has done an excellent job of helping to get them where they need to be. And again, I say more because it's a morphing issue every day. And so coordinating together, we have worked very diligently to put together some resources like a respite center, which is a 7 to 10 day voluntary location where you just get back on your feet. Maybe you come off your medication and you need to get back on. You just need some assistance, and then you can go back out and be a productive citizen in that case. Some people need more higher level acuity treatment. And so working with Bluebonnet, we spent $500,000, it's actually about $513,000 partnering with them in a grant from the state to put beds, to afford beds at GBHI. And during COVID, which again complicated a lot of things, and we saw our numbers go way up during this last year, as you can imagine. We actually spent $500,000. Let me back up. That $513,000 that we put together, 12 beds with all that funding, 12 beds. Okay. $500,000, 1 bed, just county money. Okay. 1 bed. So you can see how expensive it is to deal with this issue. And of course we have adults and juveniles that have issues. And so our gap, we're always looking for our gap to see if we can plug the gap with something that we're doing, right? Our juvenile detention center is where we want to avoid, just like we want to avoid the jail. We don't want our juvenile detention center to be the answer for children that have issues. So we're looking right now at how to maybe create some respite beds for juveniles, because if they, perhaps their living environment is horrible. There's a whole lot of issues that we could go into, but for whatever reason, maybe they just need to get off their feet and go someplace and calm down before there's a crime involved, because that way we can avoid them being in our juvenile detention center. We're looking at that. Residential beds for juveniles are also hard to come by. So we're looking at partnering on that also. And you're going to hear more about that as we go forward. But right now we're looking for solutions for issues. I wish in a perfect world it was something that families and issues were taken care of at home, because I don't believe government is the answer for everything. But we're stepping in for places that people don't, because they're impacting all of us with the different issues that are arising. Okay, I'm going to take a time out. I've talked about several things. Do y'all have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Will they be bringing back the mental health deputies?
Yeah, let's talk about CIT. That's a great question. So the county has had a CIT, or crisis intervention team, which were law enforcement, because a part of the mental health issue is law enforcement related. Okay, if they need to take my rights away, it has to be a law enforcement person that can do that. The mental health workers cannot do that. So in order to put me in a place that is safe for me, okay, because I'm at a risk for myself or others. And I'll say that during the previous sheriff's administration, CIT was disbanded. People were moved, instead of being focused only on that, they were moved to other things. And so what we found ourselves in is that we have 12 or 13 communities that were all going to do it a different way. I thought that was a really bad idea. So we brought everybody together. I went and talked to every one of them, but everyone came together and we said, is there a way that we can do this together? Because I may be in Cedar Park today, but I may be in Hutto tomorrow. And it would be good if we had some consistency throughout the county. So we did that. And we also asked the cities to step up and provide their own CIT officers and train them in the way that they can be knowledgeable. And sometimes it's just recognizing if someone is acting out because they have a mental health issue. And if they are, we need to get them different direction than if they're just committing a crime. Okay. So our CIT, I'm happy to say, is back in action. Our current sheriff actually was very integral part of CIT when he served before. And now that he's sheriff, he has instituted it back into place. And I'm really thankful for that. But again, we are so big that we're not going to go back to a county only CIT. That one's left the barn. So we're working with our cities to continue to coordinate and be able to address those issues. We're also working on a drop-off point for law enforcement. Why is that important? Because the drop-off point right now is the jail or the emergency room. And again, as I mentioned, those are diversion options, we hope. So we want to provide a safe place for people to reside until they can get into a more permanent place. It would be a 23-hour hold. It would not be something that would be overnight at all. That would be something that we would want to find. And it's hard to find a location for, because we have such a need. So anyway, that's a great question. Thank you for that. Who else? Come on. Got shot at it. Oh, good. Let's talk about the diverging diamond. You live in Round Rock?
I lived through that one.
Oh, at IKEA?
I worked at that.
So the question is about the diverging diamond, and I assume you're talking about Williams Drive. So again, not the county's project, and not really even the city's project. I'm going to take David off the hook. That's a state of Texas project, but I'll tell you, they love that concept. And they're not going to put it at every overpass. They're not talking about it at 29 or at Leander Road, but they think that that's the best option for Williams Drive. So what will happen is, and I'll call it my turnaround bridge on the south side, because when we moved here, there wasn't even an access road. Okay, in 94, there wasn't even an access road that there's there now. So they built that. And then they built the turnaround, and I love it, but that's going to go away. And you'll still be able to go back to, back south, I guess, on 35 access road, but you'll have to go through an intersection, and it'll be kind of like that. Now, they assure me that it's going to work better than at the Outlet Mall and IKEA. And I think that one way that it will, the IKEA, they did not build any new bridges. They used what was there already, okay, as far as the turnaround and stuff like that. And so they assure me that this time all the bridges are coming down. It's going to all be new and it will work better. So we'll see. So by the way, did I mention don't go that way before? Yeah. You might not want to go that way, but that's why it's important that the Northwest Boulevard Bridge gets finished, and the city's working on that, because that will be an option to be able to go east, east-west. And then of course, that's why DB Wood's important. That's why alternatives are important, so that when things are, under construction, you can choose to go a different way.
How long
Long.
is that?
long and painful. I'll just tell you. Well, because they're building bridges over I-35, it's very complicated, and it will take a couple of years to get it built easy. Yeah, but along with that, the bridges and the diverging diamond, which people have their opinions on, they are making improvements in the area, because as you know, Austin Avenue is a problem, and the part of Williams Drive that connects up there at McDonald's and Chipotle, that's a problem. That middle turn lane where you can cut over and cheat in, no more. That's going to go away. You know, they put the post up, and they're not going to let you do that anymore. They're going to add a turn lane. If you're going south on Austin Avenue, they're going to add a turn lane at Chipotle to be able to go that way. That's been needed for a long, long time. So there's some improvements that are going to be made that I think are very good. There's going to be an access road there. You're seeing them build that. It'll take you up to Lakeway. So I think that there's going to be some good things. I'm not down on the whole project. I just hear from a lot of people that are not lovers of the diverging diamond. Yes, sir.
Anything going to happen where they're going to widen Ronald Reagan, say, from Williams Road to 29? You got a lot of growth going in there, and you only have one lane each direction.
So the question is Ronald Reagan. One of the projects that I have going on actually right now, because most of Reagan is in my precinct, is to go from actually mainly 29, but Leander Road, and see how all the way to Gerald, all the way to I-35, and see how we can get more capacity in there. So when Reagan was originally, the concept was to get 200 feet of road, and you can get 6 lanes in 200 feet. Okay. But since then, with all the growth and, Santa Rita, all that development that's on both sides of Ronald Reagan between 29 and 3405. And then of course, all the growth that's there at Sun City between Williams and 195, all of that will be all the way, And so we have hired engineers to be able to, again, plan for a little bit more right away to be able to get 8 lanes in and have as much as we can through the different areas. Of course, it's complicated in some places because of the growth that's already there. Try to figure out how we can get a little bit more capacity in there, and just to make it safer. We actually have money to build 2 more lanes from 29 to 3405. Okay, so that's going to happen, but we're in the planning process of the ultimate alignment, because I don't want to put them down where we have to tear them up later. So it will go a little bit outside the right of way. We're working on additional right of way through there a little bit. Okay, but yes, we are working on that. I think it's very important. And then of course that will be future bond money. We don't have any construction dollars for that. We just have planning dollars right now.
About 10, 20 years maybe?
It depends, I mean, if, of course, Sun City has brought a lot of growth in that corridor, there from Williams Drive, but on the end of Williams Drive and Reagan, there's a development going in right now. And so that's going to cause a lot. TxDOT, by the way, is taking Ronald Reagan over Williams Drive. There will be a bridge there. And again, not a city or county project if you hate it. But it was something that we asked for help in figuring it out. I did ask for the 4-way stop, so blame me, but people were getting killed. And so I did ask for that, and that's why it looks the configuration that it is right now. Yes, sir.
So when you do all of your planning, you consider the bicycles. There's a lot of traffic on that road, and there's also been some serious tragedies on that road for the bicycles.
The question is about cycling on Reagan specifically. Yeah, so when we built Reagan, there's a 10-foot shoulder, no specific bike lane, but a 10-foot shoulder, and that's where bicycles the cyclists have chosen to go. With the increased traffic, it's somewhat very dangerous in some areas, and then of course, as we add more people, even more so, we are looking at that. The lanes that we will be adding will be eventual frontage road lanes. Okay. And so, that's a complicated thing because of the speed of traffic. But where do you go? And then you go out to the county roads, and Covey's widening those too, because they're putting schools out there and different things, different developments. So it's a constant battle to work with the cycling community to come up with a safe way. Shared use path is what I would recommend more than even the Ronald Reagan. Now you'll have to maybe more single file, because there'll be 10-foot but trying to coordinate that. And actually, I'll just speak a moment about trails. That's a number one desire from the taxpayers when we survey people is trails. And they've overwhelmingly, you and others have overwhelmingly approved trails and park bonds in the past. One of the things that I'm working on is trying to get, and we work alongside the city as well as developers to try to get connection between our trails. So right now there's a Brushy Creek Regional Trail, south side of Williamson County. Eventually it will go from Cedar Park to Hutto. Okay, y'all think about that. Cedar Park to Hutto. And so we're doing it in segments, and we've gotten a lot of it built, but there's still some complicated segments that we're trying to work on. I would love to tie that into Lake Georgetown or to the Georgetown trails. So how do you do that? You do that incrementally, and you do that as development comes. So right now, the regional park at 1431 and Sam Bass or County Road 175, we could go south under 1431 with a tunnel there. There's drainage, areas there, and we could build a tunnel there perhaps to connect down to Brushy Creek. We're looking at those options. Going north, it's connected to Parkside, and it's already built to Leander Road. So we would have to work on how to get it across, and then Parkside at the river will build a trail up to Georgetown's to the river, to the South San Gabriel, which basically ties into Georgetown's system as the trail comes down the river. So it's complicated, but we're trying to work on it. All those are options, I think, for cyclists. And I think those are things that you guys could get off of the really fast 70-mile-per-hour roads, because those are complicated and I don't want anybody injured. So we're trying to look at options. Okay, yes, sir.
Can you elaborate on the problem we're having on 972 east of Austin Creek to 95? That's a state project, but it's
What is your biggest problem there?
not being.
I'll check into it. I don't know why it's not. I don't know what the holdup is. I don't know why. I'm not sure, but I can get back to you on that, to be honest with you. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you mean home health? Yeah, those are great ideas, and we are continuing to share those with Bluebonnet Trails, which provides a lot of our services in the county for those that don't have insurance, especially. And that's typically where, if you have insurance, you're going to choose to go to a different place, perhaps, but you have that choice. For those that don't have insurance, it's complicated, and so we work with them. I think a lot of medicine is going home to the home. There, is discussion about a residential aspects of all parts of your health. But the home is a great place to do that. And I think that's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Who else? So we're in the budget time. We will approve the budget at the last meeting, last Tuesday of August. That's typically when we do it. We have received a lot of money, our other tax pocket from the federal government. We spent a lot of money on COVID. Just to give you a brief update, the first round of money, we got $93 million. And that was, we shared it with the cities, with the school districts, with the emergency service districts, Bluebonnet for the mental health. We shared it around. This last tranche of money, the county received $114 million. And the cities of Round Rock, Georgetown, and Cedar Park each got $17 million. Okay, so they have, and the other cities are supposed to get money from the state. So it's like overwhelming amount of money. I'm not a proponent of spending all of it, by the way, but targeted to things that we can do, and only things that are capital improvements, not ongoing costs that then we have to increase taxes to sustain. That's my thought on it. I just feel like that's the best approach. So we're looking at ways that we might be able to do. I am going to ask for some of that money for some mental health issues, perhaps adding on even to the juvenile detention center, perhaps looking at the things that I mentioned earlier, perhaps using some of that money for that to address some mental health issues. We're looking at water, as far as wastewater, anything else that other entities might need help with. We're looking at things like that. Anybody have any questions on that? Or anything else? Go ahead, Rita.
Would you be able to share your slides with us?
Yeah, sure. That's fine. No problem. And they have them, so they can send them out. During COVID, I want to say that we asked some stalwarts in our community to step forward and help us with the concept of rent and utility assistance. And the Caring Place is one of those and the Round Rock Serving Center, the Salvation Army, and a group on the west side also. We asked them because they already do that, and they just do it on a smaller scale. And so we asked them to rev it up and give us assistance. And I want to say thank you to them, because they did help us very much through that. It was complicated because there was a lot of need, but and the federal government extended the timeline we could use those funds from last December of 20 through this December of 21. So we were able to extend our help for folks that could not pay the light bill or could not pay their rent for COVID reasons, okay, only. But that was big help. So I want to thank Caring Place for that. Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, what else? Brad.
Can you say anything about Samsung? There was a report last week for the school district. Anything about whether they're coming or not, and what it's going to be?
No.
Okay.
No. I choose not to speak about it today because until things are done, it's best to not assume anything. And I think that you're going to see a lot of growth in this area from companies that come up here, with Tesla coming in so close. I think you're going to see a lot of offshoots of that, companies that provide things to them and to others that are coming. Apple, that is building their buildings over in the southwest portion. There are a lot of companies that, and there's others. I think more will move from California. It just seems like not just the people, but the businesses too seem to think that this is a great environment. And we've looked at how to, how to lower taxes, how to keep things in check. So, and just transportation, just the things that we're trying to do, I think have attracted companies. And so I think you're going to see a lot more activity in the near future. What else? So we meet every Tuesday morning at the historic courthouse, 9:30, and that's where I'm off to after this. And so you're welcome to join us. We also live stream our meetings, and you're welcome to join us for that. If you want to look up on the agendas, see if there's an issue that's interesting to you. And if you have any issues, you're always welcome to call my office. My email is, let me flip to my contact information. My email is really easy, calm3@wilco.org. And we would love to assist you with anything that you have, if it's not a city issue. And then I'm going to just punt it to David Morgan. No. So anything else? Hey, I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you this morning. And, there's always something going on. And it's been great. I'm honored to serve you and those. My precinct is very large, from 1431 to Bell County, from Reagan to east of 130. So it's all of Georgetown, but a lot more. And it's a very diverse precinct. And so it's been fun to get to know a lot of people, but also a lot of issues and try to work on those. So I'm honored to serve you. Thank you very much.